How can creators like us, who are new to building online businesses, who have high value skill sets, how do we scale our monthly recurring revenue, or MRR, to get us the freedom we desire? That is the question, and this newsletter will give you the answers. Be sure to subscribe if these are the types of answers you seek. My name is Boise Gordon, and welcome to episode 23 of Boise Talks Business. Episode 23. This one thing scaled my business from 1.4 million to 2.4 million ARR sustainably. You won't believe how simple, effective, and widely known this concept is. Welcome all. Hello, everybody. It has been a little bit. I'm kind of like in the breaks in between some of these recordings. Give me time to think, process, come up with new stuff, work on my other projects that I have. About to dedicate so much time to this. But, I am happy to be back. So, in the last episode, I discussed the first mistake most entrepreneurs make, which is pretty much just a lack of clarity, just entering into that journey without having any clue about what they want to do, why they want to do it, who they're going to do it for. It's a very chaotic mess. And a lot of people think that it's a rite of passage for an entrepreneur to enter that part of the journey with that chaos. But in reality, it doesn't have to be that way. There's so much knowledge, data out there to support, whatever idea you may have. It really helps to have a clue about what you want to do. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, but you get the point. Like having a plan, having a system to assist you in, doing what you're supposed to do every day definitely helps with discernment and choosing what to prioritize and what not to prioritize. So just food for thought there. Today is going to be about the second time I scaled my business. We had just scaled to 1.4 million, but something we did leveled us up, and I had no clue why until now. I really hadn't calculated everything. It was just an instinctual decision that I made. So let's dig in. We scaled too quickly. My first business grew from $0 to 1.4 million in 8 months. Most people know this. This is the, case study that I present to show people that I know what I'm doing. But what most people don't know is that right after we hit that milestone, we immediately lost about 50% of our business. Why? Right? That's what everybody asks. Because we scaled our business on a shaky foundation. We had set this thing up to just go, and we forgot to stop at checkpoints. We forgot to look and reevaluate. We forgot to have a whole system in place, right? A sustainable system. And once we got to the heights, once we got to that 1.4 million, our business couldn't support the weight. It just crashed. The whole system came crashing down, and we were left to pick up all the pieces, right? The process of rebuilding my business enlightened me. I could be doing more with less. So what did we do? We went from offering every service to only one service. See, part of the problem was that our foundation, was that we were spread too thin. In order to keep up with demand, we had to hire new people and train brand new employees. And then we also had to facilitate the orders. So while we're hiring to vet for people, we also had to prepare the orders that were given to us. And then we also had to train people to also prepare the orders that are given to us. And it was just a cyclical chaos because we couldn't dedicate enough resources into any one thing to ensure the system was running properly. And so it crashed. Our fulfillment went down, customer service went down, training went down. There were half measures taken to shortcut the process, and that led to long-term problems later, right? But, we couldn't do anything properly at that point. And I needed to find a solution and find it quickly. We lost 50% of our business. We went from making $400,000 in monthly recurring revenue to $200,000, like overnight, seemingly. Orders just stopped coming in. People stopped trusting us. They didn't want us to handle their projects. They didn't want us to handle their regular shipments that we had won, mainly because we weren't delivering on the promise we had. which was to give them the quality service that we sold them on in the first place. Right. So again, I had to figure it out. And after running the numbers, I noticed that 90% of our revenue came from one service. 90%. It was probably higher than that. 90% came from one portion of what we did. We offered about 4 or 5 different services. Right? So as a smart person, or like someone with common sense, at the time I didn't really consider the fact that I was stupid for even thinking about anything else, because I was thinking about so many other solutions. I even tried to implement a couple of other solutions. They didn't work, but this one was definitely the one that I observed and look back on and say, okay, this was the one. So I made an informed decision to specialize in the one service. That was literally like our creme de la creme. It was drayage intermodal. So like that was what we were going to specialize in. We were logistics brokers. So instead of offering all sorts of trucking, your lumber trucking, the flatbed stuff for like carrying rolls of things, and then like dry van, which would go from like, it's what you normally see on a highway. We specialize in containers. So those rippled accordion looking things that are on the back of trucks. And that one decision changed everything. But the minute I made the decision is when I felt the worst. What if we lose customers? What if I can't get more customers? What if we don't recover from this? Well, what actually happened is that we received more business, landed more clients, emerged from the slump. All the fears that I had about leaning myself down ended up being disproven within a couple of weeks, if not that same month or that next month. We started seeing growth month over month. Most people see niching down as a limitation, but in reality, it can become a growth accelerator. You have to think about the services you offer as the areas where you're going to be a competitor, right? And if you're offering 5 different services, well, you're going to be competing with other companies who also offer those 5 different services, and companies who individually offer one of those services. So as a smaller company, you're either going to be going against a giant that does everything better than you and has more resources and more trust with their clients and is more renowned in the industry, or you're going to be going against the little guy who is similar size to you that chooses to focus on the one aspect out of the 5. And so you are kind of in the middle, and being in the middle in business is never good. You want to pick a side. So it was much easier for us to build a positive reputation because we were now specialized. That was all we did. And so like the building relationships with people was a lot easier because we didn't have to sell them on everything. We could just say, hey, we do this one thing really well. And so we would find people who needed that one thing done really well, and we would offer it to them. And it was so much easier to train new hires and facilitate orders. So we didn't have to train people on 5 different processes, on 5 different methodologies. We just trained them on the one specialization. Obviously, they had to have some information about the other stuff. But if we were in a panic situation, they could just be onboarded within a week because it wasn't that much info, rather than the 5 other things we offered. And facilitating the orders was a pretty straightforward process. Now that we had a process, our entire infrastructure was set up to deliver on that specific service rather than 5 different ones, right? We were a small business, less than 10 employees. And like I said, that decision changed our trajectory in a positive way. So if I had to do it all over again, I would start super niche, like literally like only one person in the world needs this service that I'm offering. And then I would expand the niche, drop maybe some of the qualifiers after the fact. Because in the beginning, all you're trying to do is get that first client, right? So if you can tailor your stuff to attract that one perfect fit and deliver on that one perfect fit, then you should be good. Because getting that one client is 0 to 1. It's a proof of concept. You know it works. You drop a little bit of your niche to become a little more broad. Not super broad, but still broad enough to attract more people. And you just keep repeating the cycle until you get to a point where you have to change your entire system and infrastructure, right? And then, obviously, like I said, just expanding into other niches after I'm established. If you need help establishing your foundation or would like to start landing clients as soon as possible, I still have 2 slots up for April. I am meeting with a couple people this week who will possibly be interested in the slots. I had a meeting today and a meeting Friday. So people are waiting on these slots. They're looking to evaluate, whether or not they're going to continue with it or not. So don't hesitate. Like I said, if you're interested, just reply scale to this if you're a part of the Substack group. If not, just send an email to waitlist@boiseGordon.com and we can get you on a call, see if we're a good fit to work together. And we can talk about a few things that you might need some help with in your business. I also offer free advice. It's not like I'm going to gatekeep stuff and say I'll only tell you if you. No, I'm going to tell you everything. And then you get to decide if you want me to help you implement it. Awesome. Well, enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you so much for stopping by. And I hope you got a good look at the eclipse. Peace.